All right, let's go out to Ann Arbor and check out what happened at the Big House. Two of the most iconic brands in college football clashing there. That's Charles Woodson and Matthew McConaughey squaring up against each other. That's Texas. Number 3 Texas goes to Michigan to take on the number 10 ranked Wolverines. Mid-first quarter, Longhorns with the ball. Quinn Ewers hits Gunnar Helm up the seam for a 21-yard touchdown. Texas strikes first, 7-0 after the extra point. It caps off a quick 6-play, 56-yard drive. Mid-second quarter, Texas up 7-3. Jarrett Gibson takes the handoff. He sees a lane and scores. Longhorns lead 14-3 after the made extra point. And yeah, Michigan faithful not happy here. Michigan trying to keep up offensively. Late second quarter, Davis Warren connects with Colston Loveland, but he fumbles it as he tries to turn up the field. And Texas would recover its second turnover of the first half by the Wolverines. Ensuing Texas possession, Ewers rolls out, hits Matthew Golden for the touchdown. What a strike from Ewers. Texas up 24-3 at the half. They've won 15 straight when leading at halftime. Michigan, that's the most points allowed in the first half of a game since the 2021 CFP semifinal. Mid-third, Texas up 24-6. Ryan Wingo, the toss from Ewers, turns on the Jets. Gets brought down at the 2-yard line, a 55-yard gain 3 plays later. Third and goal, Ewers hits Jaden Blue Jr. in the flat, takes it in for 6. Longhorns just dominating now. It's 31-6 after the extra point. Even in a blowout, we had some important plays down the stretch in this one for the over-under. Late fourth, Warren avoids pressure, connects with Samaj Morgan, who reaches across the goal line for the touchdown. That cashes the over, folks. Texas would go on to win it 31-12. First road team to beat an AP top 10 opponent in back-to-back seasons since 05-06 Notre Dame. And for Michigan, the loss snaps a 16-game winning streak, which was the longest in the FBS, and it's their first loss at the Big House since November of 2020. They had won 23 straight coming in. It is a 31-12 final. Texas' first win versus a defending national champion on the road since they beat Nebraska back in 1998. It's their 8th straight road win. That's their longest streak since they went between 8 and 2010. 14-2 since the start of last season, and they improved to 2-0 all-time versus the Wolverines. All right, welcome back inside our studios. Beanie Wells, Danny Kanell, alongside me, Jeremy St. Louis. Let's get some reaction to this. Danny, first of all, we knew that this was going to be a tough game for Michigan, but did you expect what happened in this game?
No, I didn't. I thought Michigan would keep it close because of their defense. And I tell you what, I give a ton of credit to the Texas Longhorn offense, who were able to establish pretty much anything they wanted. They could run it, they could throw it, they got conversions on third downs. It was a masterful game plan. But I think probably the most impressive thing was matching physicality with a program like Michigan. That's been what they have really put their stamp on college football in the Jim Harbaugh era that Sherrone Moore is trying to carry on. But Texas matched that physicality and even forced it back on Michigan, where Texas looked like the more physical team. That was probably the most impressive thing I saw out of Texas today.
I'd agree. You know, to start this football game, I thought Michigan would come out and play physical and have an identity. And throughout this football game, I didn't see Michigan play like they had an identity. When you look at who they were in years past, they played great defense, they ran the football, and they threw it over the top with J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, he's gone, but they lacked the physicality running the football. That's something that I thought they would have. You know, getting Donovan Edwards going, they didn't do that. They didn't get Mullings going either. It was just kind of an embarrassing play for Michigan, something that I didn't expect. When I rattle off these numbers, it's going to be telling. 3 of 12 on third down, 80 yards rushing, 3 turnovers, 2 picks and a fumble. I tell you what, if a Michigan football team has 80 yards rushing, they're not going to win a bunch of games.
Not with those quarterbacks.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and to your point, Donovan Edwards, 8 rushes, 41 yards. His longest was a 12-yard run, and I mean, for Michigan, at this point, Danny, this quarterback situation is something that we've talked about with Davis Warren and Alice Orji. Orji did not get any quarterback snaps today. Davis Warren was the guy that was in there, 22 of 33 for 204. He had the touchdown late, but the 2 interceptions. So if you're Michigan and it's this quarterback situation, I mean, when you look at this tape, Are you maybe giving Alex Orji a look when you come out next, or do you stick with Davis Warren at this point?
I think they'll probably stick with Davis Warren for another game or two, see if they can play their way out of this funk. And a lot of it could be Texas, right? Texas is really good, and they could say, you know what, we'll give him a chance against, opponent that he should be able to play better in. And I remember we played back some Sharon Moore in the pregame show, some sound of him saying Davis Warren won the job, that Alex Orji, that he didn't practice well, and that Davis Warren won the starting job. And based on the very small body of work we've seen from Alex Orji, I think he's just a wildcat quarterback. He does not look like a natural thrower of the football. Maybe Jack Tuttle is an answer, or, a 6-year guy that's on the roster. Maybe they get him more reps at practice. But I think this is really concerning for Michigan because they already had all these pieces to replace. If they don't have a quarterback, or they have a quarterback controversy, this could be a season that I think most people were like, 9 or 8 wins. This could be looking at one of those 6 or 7 type win seasons.
Is it a controversy when you don't have a quarterback?
Yeah, it's definitely.
You certainly just need somebody to go out there and be able to, throw the ball around. And, I think for Michigan today, one of the things that happened is they got down and they just started chucking it around. And that's not who they are. They're not a chuck-it-around football team. Even with J.J. McCarthy when he was at the helm, they weren't a team that just went out and threw it a bunch. They had to slow the pace of the game down, and they chose not to do that for whatever reason. I think once Sharon Moore goes back to the drawing board, he figures that out. He develops some continuity on the offensive end. They're a young football team, but on the offensive line, they have to be better because that's going to be their staple point on the offensive side of the ball. They're not just going to magically appear with a quarterback that can all of a sudden throw 300 yards a game. They're going to have that identity of running the football and being physical. They're going to have to get that better.
And on the other side of this, Texas looked like the number 3 team in the nation, coming into a hostile environment in Ann Arbor and being able to, put together a very solid game plan. Quinn Ewers, 24 of 36, 246, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Heisman stock, Danny. Let's talk about it. Obviously on the rise for Quinn Ewers.
I think it's off the charts. He's definitely right in the driver's seat, probably next to Carson Beck, who did what he needed to do. We'll see what Shedeur Sanders does tonight. He's got an opportunity. But I think even more importantly, if you care about these types of things, I thought he played like the #1 overall pick for the NFL draft coming up. This looked like an NFL franchise quarterback. The coolness in the pocket, the poise, the composure. When he did have to scramble a little bit, he kept his eyes downfield, made some beautiful throws, showed off the arm talent with that dart to the goal line there for one of the touchdown passes. It really and it makes a lot of sense why Arch Manning has not played yet. Like he's held off, a Manning, with the last name. That's quarterback royalty. Yeah. And so I do think it makes a lot more sense. But man, that was a really impressive performance.
And hang on, did I catch this right? #1 overall pick?
Yes, I think because there was a conversation. Was it Carson Beck? Was it potentially somebody else? I thought Quinn Ewers played like he is worthy of that #1 overall draft pick.
He looked very good. It's not much to complain about with Quinn Ewers.
No.
And obviously, I think that's something that we all knew in years past when he would go out there and play. When he was healthy, he's one of the best players on the field, not just best quarterbacks on the field, best players on the football field. So if he continues this trend, if they continue to keep him healthy and continue to allow him to utilize his weapons, you might be right. He very well may be the #1 overall pick.
And we often say in sports, the moment picks the man. And certainly when the big moments come, Quinn Ewers is a guy who's been able to rise to those moments. If you take a look at what he's been able to do against AP top 10 teams as we cap the discussion, look at this. At #3, Alabama, 34-24, 349, 3 touchdowns. The thing that stands out here, Danny, no interceptions.
No
in either
interceptions,
of these games.
and both on the road in 2, pretty tough environments. Brian, I know we were talking about Michigan. It's still a road game with 112,000 people there, and it is a high-pressure game, high-pressure situations where every throw matters that much. He's been spectacular in those moments, and I think those are the types of film that NFL GMs and scouts will put in. What do you do in the big moments? To your point, Jeremy, he has risen every single time.
Texas 31-12 winners over Michigan in Ann Arbor on Saturday. You know where they're going to be talking about this? Danny and the gang over on the Cover 3 podcast. Chip Patterson, Tom Fornelli, Bud Elliott, certainly they're going to have thoughts. The reaction pod is coming up tonight. It's too late for Danny. Danny won't be part of it. It's past his bedtime. All right, but they'll be recapping it later today. You can download and follow the Cover 3 wherever you get your podcast. You can scan that QR code, or if you're up late tonight, you can check out the live reaction show on YouTube.